Hey, how you doing? Tony Wasinski, official editor of the podcast, and no better time to grab some off-season, great tasting, less filling than right now.
The season has officially changed.
And here he is, Frankie Bergasetti. How are you, Frankie?
Doing okay. The season has changed. Sad that my beloved White Sox have lost. But I did enjoy. This is Frankie Bergasetti. Very sad about my White Sox. Keep that in mind. This is Frankie Bergasetti. Keep in mind that I did enjoy a great tasting, less filling Miller Lite today while I watched my beloved White Sox.
It was a tough game. Tough series. My nephew Dave is hanging on by a thread. But one thing that'll pick up his spirits throughout this offseason is the reliability and the consistency of a great tasting, less filling, ice cold, 96-calorie Miller Lite.
So to celebrate the return of Miller time moments over football, since my beloved White Sox are done, Miller Lite has created the Miller Timeless Collection, a collection of 6 stunning rings set in solid 10-karat gold and featuring a microchip inside each ring. This chip can detect when all 6 rings are together enjoying Miller time and football and unlock free Miller Lite. There is only one 6-pack of the ring in existence. Will you be the one to win them for this young group, for your group? No purchase is necessary. Must be of legal drinking age in the U.S. For more information on how to enter the contest and the requirements of the contest, visit MillerTimelessCollection.com. Did I say that right?
Absolutely. It's a wonderful contest, and good luck to all participants as we get into football season. Best of luck to my nephew, White Sox Dave.
And me, Frankie Bergasetti.
MillerTimelessCollection.com. Hey, how you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Chicago sports fans. This is Barstool Carl.
And White Sox Dave.
Chief.
Eddie.
And this is Redline Radio and All Gas, No Break Chicago Sports Podcast, brought to you by Barstool Sports Chicago, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's just get into it. We just finished the live stream for the White Sox game. White Sox are eliminated from postseason contention after winning the division in 4 games to the Astros. And it kind of sucked, I'll be honest. That was a shitty live stream. I'll just say personally, after hosting this with Dave for so long and being with him, we've waited for the White Sox to get here, and this was their first big series. And from my position, it's hard to say anything other than you probably a little disappointed, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, it fucking stunk. I appreciate the comic relief of Frankie and Tony right there. It made me laugh.
Good.
I said it in the post-game little Eddie halftime end of Bears games video that I just did, but the Astros lineup just doesn't fucking quit, man. It is a motherfucker of a lineup. Cocksucker after cocksucker.
Even the young, stupid fuckers are good cocksuckers, like Jake Myers and Maldonado.
Who is this fucking guy? Jake Myers, I never heard of him until game 1.
He's a routine outfielder out of Nebraska, got drafted in 2017, and then just had a monster AAA year this year. He was hitting over 340 in AAA. He'd hit for power. They bring him up, and it's a guy you just never fucking hear about. Now all of a sudden he's a pain in the ass for the White Sox pitching staff. And that's one guy.
You knew it was good, Dave. Were you anticipating it being this good? Is this what you thought coming in?
No, I mean, I thought the White Sox pitching would battle way better than they did, but at the same time, they were missing on pitches that any other team in baseball is swinging through, or if they do make contact, it's weak contact, resulting in an out in the Astros lineup. They were Ryan Tepera had his quotes, the swings compared to Houston the first 2 games and then Chicago in the 3rd game were way different. But I was watching the live stream and they were just they would just lay off of every competitive pitch, a lot of times resulting in walks. And I mean the Sox, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was walking and walking and walking, and can't win when you give up free bases to a good team like that. So. But I take solace in the fact knowing that this isn't even close to a one-and-done thing. There's a lot of October baseball on the horizon for the White Sox, and this is what it is. And that's pretty much all I got to say. It just sucks that I don't get to fucking, my entire day was based around watching that team play, and I loved every minute of it. I would count down the second I woke up to 7 p.m. first pitch every single day, and don't have that for 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it is, but they'll be back, and I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for next year.
Emotionally, what would you say is the best way to describe? Like angry? Are you disappointed?
I don't even know how to. I can't put it into one word emotion because everything's like I'm flustered from all the Cusack shit, which I'm sure we'll get to in a minute. But what the Astros were better. I mean, they were better, and if they win the World Series, nobody should be surprised. Lance McCullers is a matchup nightmare for the White Sox, and they're better right now. The White Sox now know that. They know what their competition for the foreseeable future is in the American League. It's nobody in the AL Central. Everybody knows that. The Tigers are probably next up, but they're still a year or two away. And, it's going to boil down to the Red Sox, Astros, maybe the A's because they're a weird organization. The Rays, of course. I think the Yankees are dead. That's a different story. And then the White Sox. So you know where you sit amongst the rest of American League teams. You got to augment the rotation to be better next year.
You're taking it better than I thought you would.
I mean, if it was a close loss and
you dealt with this 4 hours ago,
right? That'd be different. But the game was over pretty early.
Yeah.
So,
when did Correa get that hit? Fourth,
third or fourth?
Yeah, that felt like that was it.
That fucking motherfucker.
Yeah, I think that's the fourth inning.
2 times 0-2.
Yeah,
drove in runs.
Does your knee-jerk reaction want to be mad at any certain player, or is there anyone you thought didn't live up to expectations?
Moncada didn't do a whole lot this series. The pitching staff the bullpen, I guess, was okay for the most part. La Russa stunk. Eloy, not very good. Moncada, not very good. But, I said this all year, ball go far, team go far. I know it's a shitty, cliche baseball thing to say, but, other than Game 3, when they lit up the scoreboard, were hitting gaps and hitting bombs, it was just single, ground ball, double play. And you can't win a lot of games like that. You need to drive the ball, and the White Sox didn't do that. Eloy, he'll be back. With a vengeance, I would say. But he wasn't very good the last 5 weeks of the season at all. Andrew Vaughn, he'll be back. He'll be much better.
Did he get any at-bats this whole
season? He hit a double in Game 3. But they were playing matchups as they should have. Vaughn was great. Or not Vaughn. Sheets was great.
He was.
Sheets was excellent in the series. It is what it is. Got to get better. And I think that they will do that. The fan turnout this year was outstanding, so I'm sure they're not going to have money excuses. It's not like it's the Rays where they're drawing $25,000 or 25,000 fans to an ALDS game and don't have any dollars to spend. They'll be back. I can't wait for it.
What about La Russa when you said this series? Were there any bullpen stuff in particular, lineup stuff that really frustrated you?
I don't like to leave things to chance. And I think that playing Lurie Garcia and Cesar Hernandez both back-to-back does that a lot. Obviously, Garcia had that massive bomb in Game 3. So Tony rolled the dice, and he happened to hit. If it's craps, he rolled his number prior to rolling 7. And but at the same time, I don't know, bullpen management was bad.
Yeah, I thought Game 1 and 2 he got dummied pretty hard.
It was bad bullpen management. Games 1 and 2 was awful. But
no Kopech till that's inexcusable.
Right.
Yeah.
Inexcusable.
It is.
Because Kopech could have pitched Game 1 or 2, had a bigger impact. Did they need Kopech Game 3 when they could have used to pair, stretch the pair? Well, they already used to pair for 2 innings in Game 3, but
yeah, but
they have such a good bullpen. If you pull up the names of the White Sox, Garrett Crochet and Michael Kopech and Craig Kimbrell and Ryan Tepera and Liam Hendricks and Aaron Bummer, those are all really high quality. And then if you mix in the start, now we're talking about 10 high quality pitchers And to Dave's point, the Houston Astros lineup, they were just so fucking tough.
Why does Lynn struggle so much against Houston?
I don't know. I mean, if every pitcher is going to struggle against Houston for the most part. You know, it's few and far between that they're going to struggle as a whole, as an entire lineup. I don't know. I don't have an answer for it. They're just like Carl and I just said. They're fucking cocksuckers, top to bottom, and that is the best compliment I can give a lineup as a whole. They're just fucking. They do not quit. They do not quit at all. And that's all I got. I really don't have any answers. Like, there's 7 hitters. Kyle Tucker, who just pisses on the ball. Smart, headsy player, goes and takes second and third on that stolen base. What was it, 4th, 5th inning, 6th inning, whatever it was. White Sox, you see what's in front of you. You got to do something this winter to at least on paper outdo that. I know Cesar Hernandez was a flop. Craig Kimbrell was a flop. Tepera, great trade. But as a whole,
how much of that?
They're close.
How much of getting better is about just growth of some of these younger guys and health versus they have to go get a right fielder, they have to go get a new second baseman?
I mean, they're going to grow naturally, so I'm not even worried about that. Like, Eloy will be better. We've seen.
Well, I mean, just like you had in 19 when they didn't get Machado or Harper, you were like angry. Like, do they have to go out and make some kind of splashy thing for you?
I don't think so. Like, the name that I keep stumbling upon, and we can get to the offseason once it's the offseason. I don't even want to really think about it right now. But the name I keep stumbling across is someone like a Chris Taylor, LA Dodgers, who's just he's not like a stud by any means. He's just a quality, solid player, like you see in the Houston Astros lineup. You know, like Well, Kyle Tucker's probably a poor example. He hit 30 fucking bombs this year. He's like 24, but like, I don't think they need it. The superstars are in house. I mean, everybody saw what Luis Robert did games 1 and 2 of this series, and then what he did once he got back from injury. He was like, he looks like he has every making of a superstar, and like, so the superstars could be in house. I mean, Abreu's got 1 year left. You got to start to plan for his exit. He's going to be 36 next year, I believe.
What'd you think of his series?
He was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, played great defense today, at least. I mean, he was fine. He's Abreu. Like, I'll never say a bad word about Abreu. But, like, top to bottom, they just weren't as good as the Astros. I don't have an answer for it. I mean, maybe Carl does. He watched the games.
No, I think that, Abreu hitting that big double play today. It's tough when the Astros don't strike out, and then you ask a pitching staff like the White Sox that don't excel with like power strikeouts. Now, Lance Lynn can go out and strike out 11 and 12 and all that stuff, but this is just such a different environment where the hitters are so tuned in, and the Astros are the best at that. Like, they do have the best lineup at creating hard contact and not necessarily swinging on their shoes. Like, those guys don't give up at bats.
No.
They make adjustment, pitch to pitch. They get, like, if they see you one time through, second time through, they're going to be so much better off. They're going to their 5th championship series in a row. That's fucking
crazy.
Incredible, man. Now, remember we used to talk about how good the Braves were, and the Braves went 13 years without winning a playoff series, or they went like however many years it was. Think about this. The fucking Astros have won a playoff series, at least one playoff series in 5 straight playoffs.
I didn't know that until the game ended today.
Yeah.
5 straight ALCS appearances.
That's crazy.
And what's crazy, too, is that I know, like, I think you talked about with 108 and Kenwell, was you knew going, you didn't like the first-round matchup, but I still think there was, and they won 5 straight, somehow they were still undervalued, it felt like. The Astros, in my eyes, like, people were like, you still didn't realize.
Well, they
like,
also kind of limped into the postseason. They
Yeah.
really did. Like, they lost 3 or 4, I think it was, to Oakland, where they didn't really put up a lot of runs. They got blanked 1 game, I believe. I mean, I don't know all the details. Perhaps they were resting guys because the playoffs were like clinched or whatever. But like, going into the postseason, I was like, okay, the Astros aren't playing well. The White Sox, until game 162, when they took everybody out halfway through the game, they won 6 in a row. Looked like they were starting to finally click. And then the Astros, they turned it on, and they were that motherfucker team that the entire planet hates.
That's what I think the undervalue comes in.
And because they've been there. They know how to turn on those jets.
You're right. But I also feel like...
Hold on real quick. I think that they fucking relish in the heel roll. They love
You think
they
so?
love the hatred.
Yeah.
Which I respect the fuck out of.
Yeah. No,
I respect the fuck out of, because if you're not an Astros fan, you fucking hate the Astros.
Yeah.
You hate the Astros.
And I think that goes like it's another Big Short reference, but it's like when they're explaining how those two guys made all their money. Like no one likes to think about bad things happening, and the Astros winning is like a bad thing happening to like the
Everybody.
the
No one wants
other
to see them
29
win.
teams. So I do think that's where some of that undervaluation comes from. It's just everyone's sick of them. No one wants to see them win, and definitely not you. So, but I'm shocked at how well you're taking it, because I've seen you after like Northwestern losses.
That's different. Like that's like a once a week thing. Like this was, it sucks because like the worst part about it is I don't have fucking White Sox baseball to watch every night.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing. So they played 166 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that I saw 150 of them in person or on TV.
Yeah.
And the only times I didn't was when I'd be in New York City for like work shit, and we'd have to miss games, or like we'd be recording here during the day or whatever.
Right.
It sucks. So like I guess it's gaming season. New Call of Duty comes out in a couple weeks.
Hockey season. You want to be a Hawks guy?
Is any part of this like you just got kicked in the balls because the game just ended and you're still kind of like are you going to be home tonight, or do you think White Sox fans will be wake up tomorrow feeling worse?
The worst part about it is I got Cubs fans coming after me and Yankees fans, like quote tweeting the Yankees video. It's like read the room a little bit. You fucking losers don't have any clue what's going on. I mean, the Cubs are dead for the foreseeable future. The Yankees, I hope to God that they don't sell, because they are so far off from being like legitimate World Series contenders. I hope they go and fucking spend $300 million this winter, because it's just not going to work out for them. But yeah,
you're catching flack from Yankees and Cubs fans now.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's nonstop. And Astros fans, but a lot of Astros fans are like, the Sox are going to be really fucking good. Like the Astros fans have been for the most part cool. Obviously, there's the standard
That actually bothers me.
You knew this was
Altuve
coming.
trolls. Yeah,
I mean,
I don't even care.
You troll, so it's like naturally.
I'll even know it. I will give this fucking kid a little shout out. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want him to get that much of a shout out. But he's like, no one listens to you for your fucking shitty takes. We only listen to Redline Radio for Carl. It's like, dude, you don't have any fucking clue what you're talking about. So much wasted talent on that Southside team. Cusack was right. Why'd you stop typing? It's like you're a fucking loser. I could roast his ass with his profile picture, but whatever.
You're probably like Eddie's point. You're gonna catch some of this stuff, but
I mean, that's always the case.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and
That's part of that comes with being a good team.
that comes with being a good team. It comes with the company we work for, and it
Comes
comes
with being White Sox Dave.
It comes with I shit talk, and I love the shit talk, but at least be correct with the shit talk.
You
Yeah.
a Cubs fan,
You
I
know?
assume? This guy a Cubs
Yeah,
fan?
yeah, it is.
So would you say that this is, I'll give you two kind of like barometers for me as a Cubs fan. In 07-08 when they won the division, they were fucking awesome, and like the season was really never close. And then they get swept by the Diamondbacks, they get swept by the Dodgers, and we really as Cubs fans don't even have like memories of those playoffs. Obviously that's like as bad as it gets. But then in 2015, getting your fucking shit pushed in the NLCS. But we walked away and we were like, well, we beat the Cardinals, and like the Cardinals have fucking been running the division for 15 years
Yeah.
now. Like we finally kind of
Got over that
displaced the
hump.
Cardinals. So for the White Sox, like, do you think you guys are closer to like the way we feel 2015? Like, hey, we could build off this, or do you think you guys are closer to the 07-08 where it's just like, fuck, that's over before it started?
No, I mean, dude, you got to look at it. 30,000 feet. I mean, Robert's 20. He just turned 24 a couple weeks ago, I believe it was. He's here for the next 7 years. Mankata's here. I know he's got to pick it up a little bit. I don't give a shit what his Fangraphs war was. He's got to pick it up, but he's here for the foreseeable future. Tim's here. TA's here for a while. I mean, the core's set. Like, it's young. I know for a fucking fact that Gio and Anderson and those guys, they're going to, hit up Cabo or wherever they go for a week, and they're not going to like this. Because these guys are motherfuckers too. They don't like this. Like, they're not happy with losing at home in the ALDS. They expect the World Series. And I know this because they've told me this. And, like, that's what it boils down to. They're going to come back better next year than they were this year. And I have no doubt in my mind that a year from now, we're going to be talking about White Sox going to the playoffs again. And, I mean, a lot of that does obviously have to do with the state of the division. But, I mean, the talent on that team is fucking great. It's fucking great.
What about shining a light on the guys who, have been there and should be better? Like, obviously, you talked about La Russa, but another guy who comes to mind is obviously Grandal. Like, what he's being paid and what, where he is in his career. He had a pretty bad series, I thought.
Yeah, he had a pretty bad series.
Aside from that home run.
Yeah, the home run was huge, obviously. It was a spark plug in Game 3. But, I mean, I'm not going to judge a guy in a couple games. He was fucking incredible this year.
Is he a playoff catcher, though, or would you rather see him as a DH? Like, did you feel the way he was out there running that series, like he was the guy to manage the staff?
Yeah. I mean, are you asking if I want a Maldonado, who's a fucking defensive wizard behind home plate?
Maybe more of like... Think of the way you guys felt about McCann when McCann was playing well. Yeah. And you're like, well, that's a fucking leader and all this stuff. Yeah. And I'm not saying Grandal's not. It's just like, would you rather have that guy DH and then go get a catcher, or would you rather have Grandal catch with bad knees?
No, I mean, I'll roll the dice with Grandal all day. Like, he's the least of my worries. They said he is, I believe, he's got a year left and then a team option. So, I mean, you gotta start, thinking down the road there too. But like I said, we'll get to that after the World Series is over. But the team's gonna steamroll again next year. I mean, injuries aside, like that was the fucking story of the year though, was the injuries. Like they would have won 100 games if all these guys were healthy.
Yeah,
like no problem, they would have won 100 games. But you need to go out. You need to. I said Chris Taylor earlier. And I said this at the deadline as well, kind of in passing, though, because I knew there was zero chance it was going to happen. But why not go out and sign Max Scherzer? I would he's old, so it's not like he's going to get some fucking mega deal.
How old is he?
He's a free agent, 36, 37. But he's still awesome. He was fucking incredible for the Dodgers this year. He's that's a one fucking big time pitcher contract that's paid off like start to finish.
Yeah.
Ever. I would love them to go get someone like him. I have no idea what they're going to do this winter. I mean, I know that at the very worst that Rick Hahn and the scouting, from Rick Hahn, or I'll say from Kenny Williams through this 26 man on the roster, it's going to leave a sour taste in their mouth. And they're going to want to do whatever they can to fill those holes. Obviously, Game 3 home run aside, Lurie Garcia, he's just not a starting player. He's fine to have as a 26 man, but he got 500 plate appearances this year. If you're a really fucking good team, a World Series caliber team, he's not a starter for you. Come and have him pinch run or defensive replacement, whatever you want to do. But he can't be getting that many at bats again next year. Hernandez, it looked good on paper, the trade. I mean, they didn't give up anything for him, so who cares? But
he had that one at bat tonight. He didn't even swing.
Yeah, I mean, that was awful. He had 21 home runs, I think it was, when the Sox traded for him. I want to say he had one the rest of the year, and it was against the Cubs in, the first series after the deadline. Kimbrel, he was a fucking wreck.
He's under contract, though, right?
Yeah, for next year. Well, they have a team option, but they're 100% going to exercise it for, $17 million or whatever it is.
I saw some differing opinions on that, though. Why do you think that's such a slam dunk?
I think it is because of what they traded for him. They gave up a nice package for him. Hoyer he's going to be a very good reliever for the Cubs. I think he was good for him after the deal went down. But you almost have to pick it up. And if he sucks again next year, he sucks again next year. But then wash your hands of him because he's a free agent after that. But he was not good. He was bad. It's not even like he didn't live quite to expectations. He was awful.
Do you blame Tony for that, for not getting that situation resolved before it came to the playoffs, or what's going to have to happen? Is 162 going to be more time to get that resolved, or what?
I don't give a flying fuck about Craig Kimbrel's feelings. You're a fucking pitcher. I know pitchers are weirdos and creatures of habit and everything, and he's closed his whole life. How in the fuck can you go and get teed off on the 7th and 8th inning and then be like, I want to close, and then take your all-star closer who is fucking awesome the entire season out of the 9th inning? You can't do that. Fuck that noise. And I know there's a lot of different opinions on that, but I wouldn't trust Kimbrel in the 9th right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, Craig Kimbrel in 2009, or was it 2019 the Cubs signed him? And
Yeah.
he was brutal in the ninth for them
traded for him.
for most of that year, too.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2020 is the weird year, throw it away. And then 2021, he was lights out. Okay, you go trade for him. You think you got, like, the best reliever in baseball going 7, 8, and 9 between him and Kopech, and it didn't work out. In hindsight, it was a bad trade, but at the time, like, I would have, like, I in a time machine, I wanted to make it. But if that was, like,
the logic is sound.
The logic was, it was fucking, yeah, let's go win a World Series with these guys. We got
Right.
the big horses up front with Gio, Lynn, and Los, and then Cease. And then you got this, like, completely on paper shutdown, 7, 8, 9. Didn't work out. Shit happens. Sometimes gambling doesn't pay off, even if the logic is sound.
Yep.
Real quick here, if you're listening, you're probably in your car, most likely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the best place to go get your car checked out at?
Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about getting your car checked out, I want to talk about Chicago Chevy land dealers.
Oh, yeah. Head to ChevyDriveChicago.com to find your local dealer today. What's something, Chief, you've been looking at cars? I mean, what would you, when you did have a car, what were some problems that you had that you would need to go to a Chevy dealer for?
I had a million problems, and I should have just gone to ChevyDriveChicago.com to find the dealer near me to get that good service. So, like, your oil change, my brakes were always shitty because I got a heavy foot, I would say. And, yeah, like, all that stuff, it's so important to get it done for winter. So you got to go to ChevyDriveChicago.com, find your local dealer, get the service you need. And then if you're in the market for a car, too, this is a good time to start looking.
Yeah, stay on top of all your standard vehicle maintenance to keep your car in the best shape. Schedule your oil changes, your brake checks, and your tire rotations today. Once again, that's ChevyDriveChicago.com to find your local dealer. Super simple. Just type in your address. They'll show you where to take it. Always reliable, always there for you. ChevyDriveChicago.com. Carl, what do you think? I mean, you watched a lot of Kimbrel, and, I mean...
Yeah, I think Dave's right. It sucks. You put this guy in these positions where it's like, hey, your shutdown reliever goes shut down. It's so weird that you can tap into these like, well, no, if it's the 9th inning, I'll be the best reliever of all time. But if you take me out of my routine, I'll pitch as one of the worst relievers in baseball. Like the dichotomy and opposite ends of the spectrum for Craig Kimbrel are so extreme. It's very frustrating as fans, as baseball guys who watch it. It's like, dude, just fucking grow some balls and throw the ball. The problem I would see for the 2022 White Sox then is for the bullpen, like, I want to see Michael Kopech become a starter, or at least try and make him become a starter.
Okay.
Because he could be, like, to me when I was watching this, it's like that Astros lineup's so good. Kopech is on a short list of, like, 10 or 12 guys that have the talent
to neutralize it,
to
for
just
sure.
fucking shut them down and throw, just shove it up their ass.
So, I mean, I can't speak with fact on this. I can only speak with conjecture. But like I said it during the stream, I believe. I think what their plan was with him this year. So they non-tendered Carlos Rodon this year. Everybody thought he was walking, and everyone was like, I didn't want him to walk because I saw that last appearance he had against the A's last postseason where he was throwing 97, 98, 99, and like the shit looked there. He looked healthy. I'm like, dude, if he's a depth play, fucking bring him back because it's not going to cost any money. I don't think they anticipated him to go out there and be a fucking unbelievable, like probably front runner of the Cy Young race for the first half of the season. He was unhittable. And I think that inhibited their ability to get Kopech innings. I'm guessing they wanted to get him like 100, 110-ish pitch or innings this year, and they couldn't do it because they didn't need to, and he was dominating in the role he was already in. So it's like, all right, let's punt on this year. But yeah, I agree. Like he's a starting pitcher and he should be in the starting rotation. I don't know what that means for Rodon next year. I hope he's back. But you can't have too much starting. You can't have too much pitching in general. And I really hope that even if they got to skip starts here and there, 6-man rotation, I don't know how they would do it, but he belongs in the rotation next year 100%.
For like literally exactly these reasons of work back from October. So even if he's having like a slow May or it's like, hey, pitch 3 innings and we're going to stretch him out and take some time. If you guys have this control over the division next year, like it seems like you guys will, like you guys did this year, then you can fucking take those little stretches in June and July and try and get them figured out. Because again, if you work backwards from, okay, I want Michael Kopech to be able to go out and give me 5 fucking innings game 1. Like if you had him for 5 innings game 1 or you know what I mean? Where it's like, you just know he's going to intimidate the other team. He's going to shut him down. He's going to it's not just I'm getting you guys out. It's like I'm getting you guys out and you're going back to the dugout and you're like, holy
shit.
fuck,
Fuck.
this guy's.
Yeah, he just.
It's like, who's pitching tomorrow?
Yeah.
Who do we got tomorrow? Like,
Yeah.
let's just worry about Lance Lynn then. So as a White Sox fan, it's like you could be sitting on like the next big starting pitcher, and you have these reasons to take it slow and get him up and running to when it matters for October. So even if Kopech starts 12 games and he's a little shitty at the beginning and it takes a while to get it figured out, like if he has signs next October, September going into it, like I would definitely be trying to figure out how to get that guy 5 innings at the top of the rotation.
Carl, what really stuck out to you? Because obviously Dave's so close to it, and you're such a good baseball guy. Just disregard the future, disregard the past for 4-game series. Like, what really stuck out to you?
So these series, they come down to like just one. It's like one. You could like pick a couple, like all the games. It's like here's one pitch, one at bat, one moment, all this stuff. The 2016 game 3, the Cubs are down in LA, and Zobrist like lays the bunt down. Or I think it was game 4, and it was like the Cubs had lost game 3. They're in game 4. Zobrist lays a bunt down. They score like fucking 5 runs, and they just like run away with the series. I don't think the Dodgers held a lead for like the next 3 games in the NLCS. And you ask a Dodgers fan, they'd say that fucking Ben Zobrist bunt. And I felt like the exact same thing happened in this Astros series where it's like the Astros could have swept you guys easily. They're up 5-1 in game 3, and you guys come back and win that on that one, on like the fucking Grandal homer to left field. And then today with Correa, we knew Rodon really was only going to throw him fastballs in that at bat in the 4th inning. Like he couldn't get his curve, his slider in, his breaking shit in. And like if he gets Correa out there, bases loaded, lefty on righty matchup. It was a series you'd look back historically and say the White Sox got handled pretty fairly. Other than a couple innings, game 3, like you guys, they just 4 of the 36 innings you guys were in control, but it was so much. To me, it was a lot closer. There's just a couple handful of moments.
The Astros in games 1 and 2, and I don't want to get into like the luck word because it wasn't like you create your own luck in baseball, but they routinely beat the shift. Just like on dribblers that theoretically like are 6-4-3 double plays where Tim Anderson's playing on top of second base. Oh, fuck, it's in left field. It's like shit like that. Just like, you guys
don't shift that much relative to the Astros.
I don't fucking know. They might not. I don't look at all those numbers because I don't care about them. But it just like shit like that. Just one pitch. All of a sudden, it's runners on first and third instead of 2 dead because they beat the shift. And then it leads to a big inning because that fucking Astros lineup, man.
Yeah, game 2 was the big turning point, right?
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
you got pretty handed to you 1 and 4, you won 3, but 2 was where, and I do agree. I thought that Moncada's sliding injury through, like, it seemed like Gio was never the same after that.
That's I said that. I'm like, I fucking hate this delay because
it really did.
throws you off your rhythm. And like today with Jake Myers in center field, I'm not rooting for injuries, so don't take it as such. But when he pulled the Eloy where he kind of hung on the fence with his throwing arm a little bit, and you could see him go down. He eventually left the game. I was like, you know what? Like Jake Myers leaving the game aside, which is a good thing, even though you don't want to root for injuries. That's going to throw McCullers off his game because now he's like, you get the ball, you pitch the ball. And when there's a delay that's not a baseball delay, that'll throw a lot of pitchers off. But it didn't. Credit to McCullers. He's fucking nails. And that's just how it goes.
Yeah, because he came out that first inning firing. And, Rodon started off pretty solid. I don't. What changed throughout that? Like, was there something there that, the Astros just are too good to like really ever put into a coffin? They could never really lock in. It felt like.
Oh well, I saw one stat. It was like the Astros were 8 for 17 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs in the series, and the Sox were like 3 for 19 or something like that. I mean, there's the series right there.
Yeah.
You flip those numbers, and the White Sox win the series. So to Carl's point, like if you want to boil it down. The White Sox win that series if those numbers are flipped, and that's eventually what caved them in. I mean, walks aside, but Astros, man. Fuck the Astros.
I think the White Sox bullpen, too, is like, there's a lot of guys that throw hard, but, like, I just remember, this is going to get pretty, like, I remember just being not being a kid, but, like, coming up and just watching playoff baseball. Like, it just seems like there's always the teams that go through and progress through the postseason they got the relievers they go to where it's like, oh, this guy's 36. He's in every postseason. They trade for him at the deadline. He's got a little fucking cutter, a little slider. Like Sergio Romo's a name that comes to mind. Throws fucking 87 miles an hour. He's pitched in the postseason for like 10 straight years with the Giants and maybe with the Phillies or whatever.
Or the A's now.
I know that baseball's gotten away from these, like, well, this guy's atypical. It is this and that. But, like,
I mean,
to me, if you're bringing in Garrett Crochet and he throws 98, and you bring Kopech and he throws 98, you bring in Hendricks, he throws 97, you bring in Kimbrel, he throws 97. It's like, oh, well, they're fastball dominant guys.
Who was the
with
best
pretty good
pitcher for
sliders
the
they
White
can feel.
Sox in the postseason?
I mean, it wasn't Aaron. Oh.
Starting pitcher or reliever?
Tepera?
Ryan Tepera.
Yeah.
What does Ryan Tepera do? Throws 92, 93. He fucking dots eyes. Goes and gets out.
That's exactly it.
Yes.
Tepera's
Yeah.
like
Yes.
exact where he had a great series.
He was awesome this series. He was awesome all year for the. It's
He was
funny
really
'cause
strong.
When the Sox traded for him, who was the first team he faced?
Probably the
It
Cubs.
was the Cubs, and he got fucking lit up. He gave up a bomb at home to the Cubs.
Yeah.
Actually, that was Patrick Wisdom gave up the bomb. I was like an inch away from catching it. I was like an inch away from catching it, and he got the boo birds unfairly, but he got the boo birds because Sox just traded for him. He got shit on his first start, but after that, he was awesome for the White Sox. That was by far and away their best deadline acquisition.
So maybe not like, I'm not saying like go out and get all these Teperas, but even in like the La Russa mix of like, if you have it to, if you're going in between, you
don't want clones.
if you have two
Yeah.
arms warming up in the bullpen, like
Yeah.
you don't want to make it easy for the Astros. It's like, hey, here comes fucking 97 on a tee. Like,
It's
have
almost
a
like
couple different looks.
you need a whole pitcher to be a changeup.
But then they have the new rule change where you have to
It's
face
three
three hitters.
guys,
And
yeah.
just fucking.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of those rules that if you like the same thing as the guy on second base where they got rid of that for the playoffs, they should just get rid of that rule for the playoffs. The 3-batter rule.
Yeah.
Like just make that if you're trying to
Those
speed
games would last 18 hours then.
but they always used
I
to.
know.
Playoff baseball is awesome. Like I'll watch
They're
them.
lasting 17 right now.
Well, that game lasts 5 hours today.
These games are crazy.
What time? It almost lasted it was almost a 5-hour game.
You're right. That's what I mean. So who cares?
I mean, I
Yeah,
don't care, but
yeah.
that's why they won't do it.
I know, but I think that for the regular season, if you want to have that rule to move it along, like, whatever, we'll get them tomorrow. Have a guy face 3 guys. The playoffs, like, it's kind of cool. Like, it's like the strategy of, like, who we bringing in, how we setting the lineup, all that stuff, because you can have a guy who's just like a lefty specialist coming in. And
Yeah, Carl mentioned that too. It's just such a different game, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, the difference
Yeah.
between the 162 and this is like
Yeah.
they're different sports almost from a fan perspective.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Because you're like, when you're living on every pitch with baseball, it can be fun. Like, but to your point, 5 hours. I mean, I went to the game on Sunday night and it was like, holy fuck, we're in the fourth inning after 3 hours. So
Yeah. But if this game was 5 hours and it ended 4-3, no one would care. It's only because it was 10-1. It was like, fuck, get us out of here. But if it's like an exciting game, I don't know. That's just speaking for myself. Like I would watch a 5-hour baseball game if it would like a 5-hour playoff baseball game.
Constantly back and forth. For
Yeah,
sure.
if it was, or even if it was 4-1 going to the ninth, and it's like it's in doubt at least. Like you can do something in the ninth inning. I think that's fine. But yeah, I don't know.
my most disappointing thing for the White Sox, if I was a White Sox fan, would be, and he's a friend of the program. You like this guy a lot, but like Lucas Giolito, game 2, to me had an opportunity to really like take a step forward because he's a guy who like talks very much about wanting to win a World Series. Lance Lynn got game 1, and part of that is like, well, Lance gets game 1. Well, if he loses it, game 2 is more important anyways. And so the stakes couldn't, like the stage was set. It's like the fucking Astros, and you got the changeup, and that can neutralize this lineup. And the part that sucks, it's not giving up the hits. It's 5 walks and not even 5 innings worth of work. And because it's not so much about that sucks for Gio and like, you lost, you suck. It's also if he pitches well and dominates game 2 and the White Sox win the series. Bro, I'm buying Lucas Giolito futures next year for Cy Young and stuff. He's training all this offseason. Like, he's building off of all this hard work and progress he's put in. And he really is, like, the face of them getting better and taking – like, yeah, Tim Anderson's been good. Everyone knew Tim Anderson would be good. Fucking maybe not as good as he is. Yohan Moncada's a very good player. And, he came in with all the hype. And Luis Robert and all these guys have come in with the fucking hype. We've been sitting here selling Lucas Giolito down the fucking river his first 2 years on the club. Thought he was like literally did not think
They
this
had
guy
the fucking
belonged.
commercial. The guaranteed rate commercial. Lucas Giolito, worst pitcher in baseball in 2018. And then something happened, or whatever the fuck the quote is.
So, and of all the stuff he's done to get to this spot, I really thought it would have been cool if he fucking shut down the Astros game 2. They came back, battled. You know, he gets a ball. Like, maybe he gets to throw a couple innings in game 5. Like, there was a big moment for Lucas Giolito to own that moment. And maybe he does build off of it, but I thought that was like the biggest opportunity to explode.
He looked
like
the best out of
fucking.
all the starting pitchers for sure. And if you want to go back to
Lester,
last year,
Lester wrote his whole career off of his fucking right. It's like starting pitchers. Starting pitchers can like. You only get a couple of these opportunities in your career where it's like, yo, you get the October start. We need you to go out and win. And like, dude, if you throw a game, I mean, really go out and throw a game. 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, fucking 10 strikeouts. Like, that shit follows you around the rest of your fucking career. And I think it helps guys. And hopefully this doesn't work the other way against Gio.
No, I don't think. I mean, you go back to last year, he had, I want to say it was 13 strikeouts in 7 innings and took a perfect game into 6 against the A's. Obviously, 2 totally different lineups and teams, but like Gio's fucking nails. Like I'll start him game 1, game 7, game 2, game 3. It doesn't matter. I love Gio. And I will be investing in Cy Young futures for him. He got off to the cold start this year, but he had I want to say second best ERA in baseball in the second half of the season this year.
Yeah, there was just like a weird thing where it was almost like it was a high school football team who had a bunch of super talented juniors, and then they ran into a team that was like super senior heavy and was just like, hey, we're, sorry.
Yeah, we don't make the same mistakes you guys are making.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Kentucky loses to Wisconsin.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It just felt like that kind of.
Yeah.
It just felt like that kind of series. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something that might cheer you up a little bit, Dave?
Sure.
We have a new sponsor.
Who's that?
That should
You're
cheer
gonna
you
love
up.
it. You're gonna love it. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
Hooters.
There we go. There we go.
The first overall pick in the chain restaurant draft.
Hooters.
I think they were number 2, but I would have taken them number 1 if I had the first pick.
Hooters is your go-to spot for killer wings and ice cold beer, but football season means all the big games on the big screens, and it's the only place that has the world-famous Hooter girls. They love football just as much as you, and they're better looking than your friends. Is that true, Dave?
That's the God's honest truth, Ed.
They have game day specials to keep you hydrated and filled up on your Hooters favorites all season long. If you can't make it to Hooters for the game, though, you can still get your Hooters fix at home and save $10 with code BARSTOOL when you order online. That's right. Check out Hooters.com/Barstool for details. I love that we got a nice little Hooters promo in the arsenal.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Well, it's such a good product.
That's nice. So visit once again, Hooters.com/Barstool. Use code Barstool for $10 off $50 plus orders. Hooters.com.
Hooters is a great place for wings.
And they got great beer there.
They do. They do have great beer.
And they're curly fried.
They
We
do.
don't have to limit it to
Yes.
to the wings. Obviously, that's what they're known for. But their burgers are excellent.
Their
I love their food in general is good.
Full catalog.
Their Miller
Yeah.
Lite and their Blue Moon is very strong.
And they serve. Do they serve in cold, like the bigger
They give
glasses?
you
Yeah,
the
they
tall
do.
glasses,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh boy,
They have a great
Frosted glasses.
They have
You
a
love
great,
that.
they have
I love
great
that.
Miller
Yeah.
and Blue Moon.
I'm going to a Hooters. I have questions for Dave, but my big takeaway that should hopefully make Dave feel better is like my Dave, I want you to feel better takeaway. Watching the Astros in the White Sox series, and then I'm thinking like, all right, we got Schwindel, we got Wisdom, we have some guys that play well, but just the difference in what the Cubs put out, especially the last couple months of the season versus like the high caliber baseball. I mean, it really is 2 completely different sports.
I think also what should make you feel better is Game 3. That crowd was absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're ready to go. And the
Yeah.
players saw that. That's what Tony said after Game 3.
Well, fuck yeah,
they
did.
all noticed how many people stayed the whole game.
Yeah, and then did you see, like, Gio had a thing where he was mic'd up, I think, before Game 3. Yeah, and it was Gio, right?
Yeah, it was Gio.
Yeah, when he's just like, fucking chills, man. Like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that blackout thing they do, they turn the lights off, the spotlight, that was cool.
That fucking cocksucking Major League Baseball, by the way, giving them 1 p.m. starts. Is that a different game today? If that's a night game,
I think so. I honestly do.
Like intrinsically and
people are
the,
more
and
hyped
the vibe.
up. And,
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Rodon was still throwing 98.
Yeah, of course. Rodon, he emptied it out, and
But you know when the lights go down, like you get gassed up.
Dude, shout out to the White Sox. I don't even know who would be the production staff. I guess
Game day operations.
Game day operations. Who said it on the post game? One of the fucking idiots covering baseball for the national media said it was the best atmosphere he's been in any sport in the last 10 years. And I don't know what other sports he was talking about, but I mean, for me, granted, I haven't been to the Iron Bowl or anything like that, but that was the best.
It looked awesome.
It was the best I've ever been a part of. It was absolutely unbelievable. You know that, come April 1st next year, it's going to be every single fucking night because the fans, they got that taste of a good team, and we'll be back. They were one of two teams this year to improve year over year the last 2 years in attendance, or going back to 2019 rather, because there was no fans last year. So, yeah, Sox fans, I know a lot of you disagree with my Cusack shit. Are we going to talk about that, by the way?
I was waiting because I was going to ask you if you want to address it. I know you've talked a lot about it.
Yeah.
And the word you used
We'll put it
at the
to
start of
bed.
the show that kind of put me back on my heels was you said you were flustered, and that's like a real word. That's not something people throw around unless they are flustered. Like, is it actually getting to you, all the shit?
No, the only thing that flustered me was how combative he immediately was. That's why I was shook. But no.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a bust balls guy.
No, I guess he's not. I'm trying to if you ran into do you think you could bust I know this is just the first name that came to my head, but do you think you could bust Matt Damon's balls? Or
Matt Damon.
Yeah,
You think?
I do.
I
Yeah.
think he takes himself pretty seriously.
Does he?
I don't. You see him at Disney World with his family and shit. He seems like he tries to live as normal life as he possibly can, in spite of his fame. And
He probably all these guys probably just get so much hey, dude,
Yeah.
you're John Cusack.
Right.
You get it, Dave. It's White Sox Dave.
Yeah,
Now
I
imagine
mean,
you're John Cusack. You've been getting it for 30 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Fuck him.
I don't know, but it's he runs with that crew of guys. I call them the Malibu Mob that Chelios is in. So it's Chelios and Cusack and Laird Hamilton, who's that big wave surfer, and they're just out there doing bro shit. And I can't imagine a situation where Chelios isn't talking shit.
Busting balls, you man?
Yeah, he's a hockey guy. I know Chelios bust balls.
Yeah.
So how could Cusack that's what I mean. I can't wrap my mind around. When I woke up, because I didn't see it at first.
I asked you to blog it and you didn't respond. I noticed that.
I was asleep. You didn't ask me to blog the Cusack thing.
I thought I did, but whatever.
No, KFC told me to do it the next morning.
I'm busting your balls.
Yeah. But it's just yeah. Well, you asked me to blog your post game. I was already asleep. Anyways, but I just can't. I lost my train of thought now. I don't know what we're doing.
Chelios.
Oh yeah,
balls.
he how can he be a regular guy? How can Cusack be a regular guy who's hanging out with athletes who are all hockey guys do is bust balls?
That's all they do.
Right.
Baseball players too.
Sure. So
They're
how
fucking vile animals,
right,
creatures.
Yeah. So then how I just don't understand why Cusack just went bananas like that. He and at first I thought it was hilarious, and then when it kept going, I was like, what is this guy's problem?
Yeah, he's a fucking dick.
Right. He also can't do one tweet without a grammatical error. It's a little concerning.
Not
a single one.
What bugs me the most, speaking of his grammar, is he spells Bubba. Because he
With the
says
H?
this.
That bugs the shit out of me too.
It bugs the shit out.
Yes.
Bubba is B-U-B-B-A, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Correct.
That was
He
bothering me
says
too.
B-U-B-B-U-H, I think.
Yes, B-U-B-B-A-H.
A-H or U.
AH.
He adds an H to it, and it
Maybe
just
UH.
annoys me. But like I said, this is what I've been telling everybody. I was on fucking Fox this morning for some stupid reason.
Fox 32.
I got a text
local
from-
celebrity White Sox Dave.
I got a text from Erica Nardini. As soon as I woke up, literally, I opened my eyes, looked at my phone, and the text was coming through as I was opening my eyes. It was 7:30 in the morning. Hey, can you go on Fox 32 Chicago at 8:15? I'm like, sure. So I did it, and I didn't shower. I just threw on a hat and a hoodie, and the way I explained it to him was like I wanted him to bust my balls back, like tell me to fuck myself and give me the finger,
Yeah.
in like a bust balls way,
Right.
and then take a picture and be like, let's go White Sox together, and that was it. It was the whole combativeness that like
It was crazy.
that threw me off.
You know
And-
what's kind of fun though is how crazy huge that whole thing went. I mean, it was in the Post. It was everywhere, and the four
It
of
was
us
trending on
and
Twitter.
all of our
Edward-
listeners are the only ones that know this running joke. that,
Yeah,
like,
it's been
Yes,
around
you know what I
yes,
mean?
yes.
That's what you do this shit. You know what I mean? That's like, there's something to that. For every one of you who tune into us every fucking week, you saw that
you
and
know-
you're like, oh, wow, that's great. He
the
saw him
first
after shitting
article
on him,
people
you know?
were cutting up was like John, and I think they do this to like get under our skin, and that like mainstream media that doesn't like us, that doesn't take any like chance to get to understand what we do, is they kept using my real name, which I think was a subtle way to be like a dig at me. Does that make sense? Instead of saying like they would say
I think
that-
that's one of their standards, though. I think that, like, if you're a journalist, you have to.
Yeah. You would rather
but-
them put in the
okay.
headline at White Sox Dave, at Barstool WSD.
Sure, but how can you say I'm doing this like journalistic piece and say other members on the ban list include Domino's Pizza and then the weather?
I mean, I think it's one of those columns.
How
after,
do you
right?
not understand that it's a fucking joke when you read that kind of shit?
A ban list that includes former President Obama and
yes,
Domino's.
and Domino's Pizza
The weather.
and the weather. Like, okay, so one of the people, someone asked me this today. I don't know if it was on stream or off stream or not, but someone asked like, who's Leander Gorski's wife? And like the list has gone on so long and so and like the amount of people and objects and things and real or fake that are on the list is
Right.
you forget why you add some people. I'm like, actually, I don't really know. And guess who DM'd me today?
Who?
Leander Gorski's wife. She's like, this is so fucking funny. I need to get one of these hoodies. Like my husband. So she's like, I was 8 months pregnant with our first kid, and my husband wanted to do the 999 challenge at the game, and I said, fuck no, I'm not dragging your drunk ass home when I'm 8 months pregnant. And I'm like, that's hilarious. And she laughed it up.
Yeah.
She laughed it up. You know.
No,
So-
that's great. The other,
It's the fan thing, man. People take that
I-
shit so
I
seriously.
know.
Like, it's the same thing. Like, I'm only calling it out because it's recent and it's in our world. But the whole Joey and fucking Brandon Walker thing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like with the Purdue and LSU,
Yeah.
like people, like that's clearly a fucking sensitive topic to
Big
him.
time.
Now, what sucks is the fucking people who reacted were like,
Yeah.
I mean, White Sox Dave, you're consistently on another planet from everybody else.
Yeah.
Like consistently. But actually, everyone who has a brain was on your planet.
He might be Mars, but everyone else is out like Jupiter. Like
Yeah.
they're way
Yes.
fucking
Yeah.
on.
Yes.
And but like again to the other point, like my favorite one on the ban list is Vanna White and Wheel of Fortune. They didn't include like they're doing the 4 Chicago teams. They didn't include the White Sox. So they're like that's like to your point too, Dave. Like how can people like write a serious
Yes.
and take it.
Yes.
And then like
yes.
the headlines where it's John Cusack embarrasses Barstool writer before the game.
Oh,
Like,
it's, I have not quote tweeted or responded to one person reading that. That website had 1,500 followers, and some way, somehow, it fucking went off. First of all, he didn't fucking embarrass anybody.
Right, it's just-
he
No.
had that fucking name ready to go because he was insecure about being there and getting called out. That's exactly what it fucking was.
Yeah.
He uses
And
that
nobody
name
can
all the
tell-
time in interviews. It's the 4th time. So he's like been interviewed
Yes.
in 07 and it was like, oh, I grew up when Mike Squires was there. And then,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
so
Yeah.
there
That's
was
like
another
his,
one where
that's
like,
his
Bro, he used
go
it too
to.
first when the first battle broke out.
He used Mike Squires then?
Yes,
I don't
yes.
remember that.
which makes it more egregious that he was like, who's the third baseman? Because didn't he call him a third baseman or did he call
No,
him a
he
third?
said who was the starting first baseman in 1983, and I was like, what? Like, was it Ron Kittle? Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Where
I
Dave
was
went,
Such a
born
fine
in-
guess, too. Ron Kittle was a good player on that team.
And Ron Kittle's son DM, he's like, yeah, my dad did get a lot of innings at first base that year, but he wasn't
Yeah.
the first baseman.
But
But neither
neither
was
was-
Mike Squires.
right.
It was Wimpy. It was
Yeah.
Tom Pachorik.
Back to Eddie's point, I think what made this so, yeah, it's funny it's Barstool. It's funny it's the ban list. But what made it go national to me, I think those helped it go national because it's like, yo, Barstool, this is going to get more clicks. And like, hey, John Cusack. And like, there's an altercation outside. But what gets people to actually talk about it is, can John Cusack be a fan of the Cubs and the Sox at the same time?
It's
And like, that was something to your point when you're bringing up Joey, like, that's something that like got like the fan was talking about that. Like they Boomer was talking about it this morning. DJ was talking about it during the game. Someone was saying, and so they're talking about the conflict of like, did you see Barstool and this guy and all that stuff? But the huge conversation point is like, is it okay to gatekeep fans? Is it okay to tell someone, no, you can't come? Yes,
I'll
you can
say
come.
this again for the final time, I guess. I'm sure that won't actually be the final time, but I hope it's the final time. I don't care if John Cusack is a fan of both teams. What I care is he is a fan of the teams when they're good. And that's what bothers me. Because he doesn't fucking pop in. He's sitting. Dante has told us that he calls the Cubs front office and demands to sit next to Eddie Vedder at the games. Jerry Reinsdorf in 2000, I think it was 2008 it was. I could be incorrect there. Someone can fact check. Jerry Reinsdorf himself told John Cusack to pound sand when he called the front office. Jerry Reinsdorf said, fuck that. Absolutely fucking not. So, I mean, go to the game, spend the money as you want, but also be prepared to deal with, I said, Ozzie Guillen backed me up today. Thank you, Ozzie. I fucking love you. I'd go to war for you.
Ozzie's the fucking man.
Ozzie said, he's like, that guy can't name the 2017 fucking right fielder.
Right.
Is there a sneaky smile that crossed your face when you realized that Reinsdorf probably saw that and was probably like, I like this guy.
I swear to Christ, I haven't thought of that until you just said it right now.
Dude, probably.
Oh, he 100% was like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
I like this guy.
And people have been tweeting me saying like the White Sox front office, like, oh, you're like, they're not ever going to want to work. Like, I don't know, maybe they won't.
They're fucking nuts. Those people in that organization hate the fucking Cubs.
Fucking hate them.
Are you kidding me?
Them.
Probably hate the fact that John Cusack sits at Cubs games and going,
yes.
There's a great story. White Sox Dave and I are in spring training in 2017.
Don't say the name.
I won't. But it's just like we were walking around the facility and our producer at the time was with us and like he's not thinking anything of it. We were in between Cubs and White Sox facilities and our producer at the time was a huge Cubs fan. He's wearing this old ratty backwards Cubs hat. I mean, dude, we're not on the White Sox property for fucking 30 seconds. And one of the guys showing us around very sincerely was like, dude, what the fuck is with that hat? And it was not like a keep it on thing. He was like, dude, take that off. Go put that on the bus. And like our producer left, went back, put on the bus, was like, I'm sorry. He's like, don't worry about it. And then it was like, who's this fucking guy?
An hour or two later, what happened with me at the Cubs game when we were throwing out first pitch?
Oh, yeah, the Cubs got super mad
so
at you. So
we're in spring training. We go to from Camelback to what's it called? Sloan Park for the Cubs, which is like, I don't know, hour away from each other. And Vienna Beef paid for Carl to throw out the first pitch. So I'm out there recording it on my cell phone because that's how we had to do it when we first started full time. And the Cubs were fucking furious that I went out there in a Sox hat. And everybody knows that I typically wouldn't do that. It's just that I was at the Sox game earlier, like an hour earlier.
The people who got mad about Cub Snake sent me an equally upsetting email about
me wearing a Sox hat.
Dave guy of yours.
But and I get it because
real.
You know what? Those fucking guys in that organization were the ones at the fucking depths of the rebuild in 2016 being like, man, shit sucks over here. Look at the north side. And you see that fucking guy in a blue hat going nuts.
Well,
yeah, that would piss me the fuck off too.
I think that's what it is for me. If you want to root for both teams, you can't have the highest of highs for both
without dealing with the lows.
Right.
Exactly.
So you can be like a casual fan, go to the game, clap, whatever. You can't be oh my God, this is the best day of my life when the Cubs win the World Series, and then do the same thing when you can't.
Because I even question, and listen, and I'm just not trying to start anything, but Carl, you went to the game.
Mm-hmm.
You just observed and watched, I'm sure. You probably didn't cheer. You probably just watched
baseball. I didn't even know you were there until the game
I
started.
See, that's all. That's a different discussion. I think you should be able to do that.
Oh,
of
course.
Absolutely.
I wore a Penn National black hoodie, wore the hood up, bet the White Sox, and tailgated. And
your wife, is she a Sox fan?
No, but she likes the environment. My
best,
went with one of my best buddies who's a fucking diehard White Sox fan. He's the one who kind of set the thing up. So it was cool to go and sit there and tailgate and talk to people. And I still took I handed out Miller Lite and said, but to be fair, I wasn't broadcasting the fact that Till check out this moment because that wasn't my job. That's Dave's job. You guys did a great job with the social and all that shit. But I didn't turn out a free ticket to go in there.
No,
and
that
fucking sit with
to
my
me
buddy.
is I'm doing something. You might as well go to a movie. You're going for the entertainment. You love baseball. Of course you're gonna want to go. That's way different.
I did instinctively get yeah, Eloy hit a line drive up the middle. And I legitimately, like, instinctively was like,
Felt the energy.
I was like, let's go. Yeah. But then I was like, oh man, if I
that's how I got banned.
If someone sees
banned.
me clapping or anything like that, it's like no. I didn't get to that point, but like
that's
you
how
buy into the moment and being able to see that place rock. Was cool. That's cool, and I'm happy for the White Sox fans. There's a lot of people that have listened to the show that are White Sox fans.
Are you gonna add him to the ban list for that?
No. I didn't see it in person. If there's video,
I didn't clap. I felt it. I felt it.
Like that. For Dylan Cease and like a July throwaway game his first start, and I got banned for that.
I'm surprised you didn't have your buddy duct tape your hands together because like it's such an instinct.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you want something. You want something to happen in the moment. But I wasn't.
I'm a big clap.
Shit.
Like Mush, he's gone now. They're at the airport now. But with Mush, Mush and I were actually it was Danny and I too. Danny, it was like the 6th or 7th inning is like, dude, this like Cusack video is starting to really pick up steam. I didn't even think about it until the next morning.
Danny,
actually, take that back. I got back at like 1 a.m. and Cusack was going off, so
you guys were motherfucking each other
a little bit that night. Yeah.
Social media. Danny actually just had like a very interesting tweet. Is that nobody has like put the connection that you're the Cody Parker guy and you're the John Cusack guy, like these two like insanely like controversial viral moments, just like the two idiots out of this office.
That's
like,
what it is.
Yeah,
that's what you envision when you started the show.
Like let's talk baseball.
Yeah,
and then like, a couple years later, it's like, all right, who are the two biggest jagoffs in the city?
You're the maniac yelling at a kicker, and Dave's the gatekeeping fan hall monitor.
So what do you? Well, hold on. What do Eddie and Chief have in store?
Yeah,
you guys got to add some deranged
fucking pussies.
Yeah.
I had the general manager sit across from me and I roasted him for an hour to his face. It just didn't go viral.
You're still a pussy though.
How am I a pussy?
And you Ed and you Lance and you Tom, you're all pussies until you go viral for doing something.
The Moon Book Club. I'll hold on to that one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
That's a good one. Maybe steal.
Are
a
you
car
getting
or
quote
no,
tweeted by
It's
Edward Snowden though?
No, that's fucking crazy.
Why the fuck does he have an opinion on this?
Yeah,
why is he a Cusack guy?
Because him and Cusack are on the board of directors for a free speech nonprofit.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, but like Cusack's against free speech unless it's a speech that he approves of. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole though.
Nah, yeah.
What you guys asked, I mean, that's what I read.
He's a fucking deranged, broken brain lib, and there isn't me taking a shot at liberals. There's a difference between a deranged lib and a standard liberal.
Can you point out a deranged, broken brain conserve to even the scale?
I mean, you could go down the list. There's a fucking million of them out there too.
Okay.
Like to click on go.
The guy who looks like
he's a fraud.
Yeah, the guy.
Oh, Alex Jones. I got a million fucking people saying I'm Alex Jones right now. I don't even know who he is really. I know he's bad. I think. But
he said some bad things.
Yeah, I know he's a bad person. I disavow what he is and what he stands for. But I had a lot of people saying that. So yeah, there you go, Alex Jones. He's a fuck. I hate him too. But
it's good balance.
Thank you, David.
Yeah,
very objective.
Yeah,
podcast.
good forcing change up.
I mean, Portnoy said the exact same thing today. Like Cusack started saying, like bringing up the MAGA shit and with Portnoy and everything.
I wonder if he did that because Dave's like, I want to be on Cusack's side, but it's the whole anti-Semitism. Yeah. So
at the end of the day, I think that, like I've been saying, 97% of the city agrees with you. I think obviously 3% is like those like the Chicago fans.
They got an original copy of High Fidelity.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say this: I do like most of John Cusack's movies.
Oh yeah, Con Air is awesome.
So he does put out good movies.
Yeah.
Like
William Williams shot me a call today. I hadn't talked to him in a few days, but this was yesterday morning. I'm sorry. So he shot me a call yesterday morning, and apparently he's down in Tennessee looking at fucking land to buy. I don't know. It'll never happen. He says this kind of shit all the time, but he is down in Tennessee, and he's like, "Why did I just get told that you got in a fist fight with John Cusack at the White Sox game last night?" I'm like, "What?"
You should have told him that you did.
Williams.
You should have told him that you did. He never would have been able to figure it out.
He would have never in a million years known unless whoever told him spilled the beans. But it got back to him. The whole thing was like, and to Ed's point, when did we talk about this? Was this on the
Portnoy show?
But we talked about it some other time. Like, if there were no cameras around,
You
Like
would have done the same thing.
Everybody thinks that I was doing it for like shock value and clickbait and all that. And not the case. If it was a Tuesday day game 83 of the season, I'm saying that to John Cusack.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to John
100%.
Cusack.
And that's right. I think the only way that I think
He
people
would
could
never
be
be
like
at that game.
No, exactly. That's true.
the only way people could really be like, what are you doing? Like as if like, because really you didn't need to bother them at the game, but it's in
I
your
understand
nature
that.
to
Yeah,
be like,
yeah. I understand that for sure.
Yeah.
But like I said, like
He could have just been a regular guy about it.
that's what the reaction
Yes.
I thought I was gonna get.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me look like the biggest dickhead on earth, is that he was so fucking pissed at me, but I didn't expect him to be pissed at me. I was just expecting to break balls like a couple of Chicago guys do, you know?
No.
And
Next time you see John Cusack, you should ask him ahead to be like, hey, point at Tom or whoever's with you and be like, hey, I have a camera. Do you mind if I ask you a couple
he
questions
would
on
say,
camera?
fuck off.
And then you got that and be like, yo, are you too big time for me, John?
yeah, and anybody.
But here's like, as a whole, this whole thing was good for me, even though I would like to not be known as the John Cusack guy, other
Oh.
than outside this week, that's asking. I mean, are you still the Cody Parkey guy?
Yeah. And like, yeah, like you're going to get this forever now.
Yeah.
People that don't know you will recognize you. So people that like don't follow Barstool, but they'll be like, wait a second. Oh, you're the guy with John Cusack. So it won't be people that you regularly interact with. It'll just be like a random thing where it's like, hey, you look familiar. Are you the John Cusack guy?
Do you think it helps that the camera wasn't like directly in my face like it was yours?
Yeah, it helps you.
And it was.
No, but
I also thought that you were endearing and like you were like,
But I.
you know, it wasn't.
People are like,
it
you
was,
think
there wasn't
Lamar-
anything malicious. You were like, the fact that you were like, did you say Lamar Odom?
That's what I thought
Like that's
he
a
said.
sincere thing. Like, dude, I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear him correctly, but people think that I like was putting Lamar Odom on the White Sox 83 roster. Once he said Lamar Hoyt, I was like, oh yeah, Lamar Hoyt. I know who Lamar Hoyt is, of course. But like,
What's Nicky Delmonico splits?
this is what I mean. Even though this was a net win for me, obviously Portnoy is more than fucking happy with it. He's the happiest he's ever
loves
been
it.
with me.
Yeah, if you obviously tune in the Dave Portnoy show as well, he was like,
It was the
he
most
actually,
complimentary I
he
think
was
I've ever seen
super
him of
complimentary.
anybody.
It was, and I said that either. I was like, wow. Like,
Oh, is he on it?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
on. it.
Yeah,
Well,
like the
he's
first
so
20
proud.
minutes.
Yeah.
He's so proud of White
But,
Sox
like-
Dave because he's like he feels like he's got this eye on Dave. He's like, I know this guy's special. He's gonna
Yes.
create moments for me. Like this guy's special. And
Good
so
or
now
bad,
Dave's out
obviously.
there fucking
Yeah.
leading touchdown drives.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, if I had a time machine, would I go back and confront Cusack again? I don't know that I would.
Oh, come on.
I don't know that I would. Probably. But like, I don't want to be a fucking dick to the guy because the
I don't-
guy
but I don't
never
think
been a
you-
dick to me.
I don't think you were necessarily a dick to him.
I don't. But it's the whole walking up to a celebrity and like shoving a camera in his face and that. I understand that side of because I don't want to be an asshole to anybody. I really don't.
But like I said, I think we said this on the stream too. But if he had showed up today in like a Sox jersey and a Cubs hat or a split jersey, I would have loved that guy forever.
That's what I thought I was getting. I thought he was going to
Right.
lean into it.
Yeah.
I think it gave people the vibe, and I don't want to get political again, but someone going up to someone's party that they don't like at like dinner, being like, "Oh, like what do you remember when you said this or something like that?" I think it could have given that kind of vibe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
No, I didn't really follow that. From being
I didn't
honest.
either. I
Yeah,
was just trying to
we're
figure
I mean,
sitting
I
at
give
a
you certain
restaurant. Someone
examples,
comes
yes.
up to me and they see me at a restaurant and having dinner, and they're just like, they know that I'm, like whatever. What did
Yes.
you call me? Whatever. I'm
Like,
on
didn't
one
that
side of the
happen to-
aisle, and they come up. They're like, hey, you're the guy, this and that. Did you
Yeah.
hear about that new law in Texas?
yeah,
What?
like that happened to Pence's wife, right? I mean, if you want examples,
Yeah.
like shit like that. Like I
Okay.
could see people being like, "Oh, it felt very like."
Yeah. I also kind of think like you're going to a baseball game. It's ravenous. You got crazy fans everywhere. Like he's going there in part to be seen. So
Yeah.
like, that's
So when
it's-
you're seen, yeah, that's true.
like, I think there's two sides to that coin, and then I don't know. I think he handled it terribly. I think it could have been like he could have squashed it. I think he could have come back today, like I said, with the jerseys, and then also like just his tweets that went on like 24 hours too long. I think that made him look bad
Yeah.
too.
It could have been a great win for him.
Of course.
I mean, like So, for instance, my brother, who does not follow Barstool at all, like he is not like some anti-Barstool, but he doesn't follow. He texted me this morning. He's like, he's got my dog right now. He's like, hey, who the fuck is John Cusack and why are you beefing with him? Right? He said something like that. Like, my brother's 5 years younger than me. Would your brother know who John Cusack is? Like, if you text him right now and find out.
He lives in England. So
did you know, Harry? Lance, how old are you?
24.
He's 24. Did you know who John Cusack was?
Only from Hot Tub Time Machine. If
Okay.
it wasn't for that, probably
Okay.
not.
That's
All right, shut up
probably
now.
his most recent, somewhat popular movie.
2012.
That was prior to, right around the same time.
Okay.
But like he was fucking A-list.
Yeah.
He
in
was
the 80s. He was a big,
A-list
big
in that
deal.
mid 80s to mid 90s.
Yep.
He was fucking A-list.
Oh, his filmography's great.
I like his movies.
and it
Yeah.
spans. He's got Big Action, 2012. He's
Yeah.
got Con Air, like
Comedy,
high budget
Hot Tub
stuff.
Time Machine,
Being John Malkovich.
John Malkovich, Con
yeah.
Air. Like he's like, and he was the lead in these
Oh,
movies.
big time. Yeah. He was
Like
a
he
huge
was
deal.
a fucking A-lister. Now, not as much. I mean, my brother had no idea who he was. He was only 5 years younger than me. I grew up throughout the 90s. My brother was more early mid 2000s where he would start to remember these kind of people. John Cusack, if he would have just leaned into this whole thing, like done the Dave Portnoy show against me, like that would have been a good win for him too.
Big time.
You know?
Does he need wins though?
He's,
It doesn't seem like he cares about anything.
Anything
yeah,
at all.
that's
true.
the difference.
But like at the same time, he's demanding seats next to Eddie Vedder at Cubs games. Like he wants to be in the spotlight to some extent. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in that he doesn't, but it just sucks that I can never watch Hot Tub Time Machine again because I fucking love that movie.
Well, you guys are like bonded now together, and you shouldn't hate him. I'm sure there could be a reason.
No,
to
I don't hate him.
reconcile.
I don't hate him.
Eddie is like our
I
resident.
kind of hate him.
Um,
I kind of hate him.
but you'll come around on him. Something will happen.
You know what will happen? I'll kind of forget. Like I'll
But
just kind of
like
forget.
as soon as the confrontation was over, I forgot about it until it started exploding on the internet.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing that soured me on him. Is his thing on the like I thought in the moment he was fine. You know, like I thought he was like oddly confrontational, but I thought it was fine. Fist bump, agree to disagree, whatever. Get out of here. It was like all the stuff the next day. Not even like the initial stuff at 3 a.m. It was like the next day stuff. Like, all right, dude, like get the fuck out of here. So I don't know.
But like, I'll end it on this. Like the people saying he dunked on me because he threw out that random fucking player, Mike Squires, who I hope to God we can get on this podcast.
I've started that process. I'm trying.
I think we can make it a lot easier than your try, but we'll talk about
Okay,
that
yeah,
later.
yeah.
Like that's not him dunking on me at all.
If they think that he dunked on you,
Like
if someone thinks that you got dunked on, that person does nothing but get dunked on in life.
Well,
Like someone walking around being like John Cusack had the upper hand. Like I regret to inform you, you have never had an upper hand. If that's what your takeaway from John Cusack.
I thought Cusack in the interaction and like the immediate aftermath, I thought he had the upper hand. He was wrong, but like visually he looked better. And then he also just claimed the high ground. Like you coward. He's like you cowered away and ran away, which also
It's not real.
was-
It's
I
not
was
true.
in
None of the
line.
shit he said was
Right,
real. It's just
right.
like Mike Squires, Lamar Hoy, Lamar
Right.
Odom. You don't know shit. You don't. You're ignorant.
I
You
thought
don't
he said
deserve
Lamar
this.
Odom.
Yeah,
I just
but
misheard him.
I think in like visually in the moment, you're like, wait, what? And then he like took to like, I dominated you. So then that just fuels the narrative. Like he just claimed it.
That I cowered away. I was
Right.
getting back in line because Mush and them were like 50 feet away up in line at that
also,
point.
if you had stayed there and like continued the confrontation,
That would have been a worse look for me.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Like you like had the appropriate amount of walk away, but he did like just because he said it out there, it kind of makes it true in a way. But I also just think he's wrong, and his behavior afterwards was wrong. Like he just can't be a regular guy. Like that was like my big take. I'm like, I would
Like,
never want to be friends with this.
So
guy.
I meant to ask Za this as soon as I saw Za because and the extent of my soccer or football, as they call it overseas in other countries, knowledge is from the movie Green Street Hooligans, which is a fantastic fucking movie. I love Elijah Wood. He's like if I was he's a Tottenham fan, is it? Za.
He's Arsenal.
He's like if I was
He fucking hates Tottenham.
okay, that's what it is. He's like
Hates.
if I rooted for Tottenham, there's a chance that I might get killed.
Yeah.
And he wasn't joking when he said that. Like
Oh,
we
they're
hear
hooligans.
they're fucking crazy people. Like I don't really care in the end that he's fucking pink hat.
Well, baseball's a game of peace, Dave.
But it's fucking so annoying.
It is.
It's so annoying. Like, it's so annoying. And that's all there is to it. Like, and I'll take that to the fucking grave. And I know that, like, a ton of people will agree with me on that. So, and Ozzie Guillen, fucking love you, man. Mang. Fucking love you, man.
This John Cusack thing is, like, arguably as big as if the White Sox, like, lost in Game 7 of the World Series. He got more. You got more individual national coverage through the White Sox first playoff appearance than if you guys won the World Series.
Yeah.
Like your impressions and your trending, you're like bringing eyeballs to Barstool and using your platform. So that's kind of fucked up. I'm very curious to know from Eddie's perspective as I would say you're like our de facto resident expert on Barstool history.
Yeah.
You know, like we all know our stuff. We've all been around. Chief isn't too far behind.
Eddie's my memory's just not good.
That's
Eddie,
it. Like we've lived through it, and you followed all of it along. The
Right.
difference is like Eddie can like fucking
he's
cataloged and
Right.
like alphabetized in his
Right.
head.
As soon as he says it, I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
but
oh,
like
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck. Like, how did you remember that? But anyways.
So with that in mind, pulling the curtain back a little bit on you, Ed. Sorry. I know. Where does this saga rank for you with an out? So like if we had to redo the draft with Dave Portnoy, you know, like rivalries or something, or like villains, where does John Cusack versus White Sox Dave kind of fit into you?
Can I answer real quick?
Yeah.
I think the concentration of 24 to 48 hours of it's the biggest that I can remember. But like the Goodell thing, that's like ongoing.
Goodell is still number one.
Yeah.
Right? I think you're. Yeah.
But as far as like one feud packed into 1 or 2 nights, I think this is probably up there.
Goodell he's never also publicly engaged.
That's true.
So it's always been like behind closed doors shit, like where Cusack like got in the mud, which I did kind of respect. Like that's when I liked it initially. It was like this guy's getting in the mud, like, but he's not a regular guy.
Yeah, it's tough to say. You know, obviously, yeah, Goodell is like the big one that comes to mind. I'm trying to think ones that have had like a personal interaction.
I mean,
because I think that's what you kind of gotta box it into, right?
Dave versus AOC's.
Yeah, but there's never been like to me it. I mean, I'm not gonna go. I guess you go super deep, but maybe the fucking the rally with Dave and Boss. I don't know. Like that's
the KO Barstool.
Yeah, like
oh
that's
yeah,
what it kind of felt like. I don't know, but
it's just the other thing that's
not
just
that
so
serious,
weird. I'm
obviously.
always like just stunned. Number one, Cusack has 1.7 million followers on Twitter. I found that shocking, and there's just so many. Like I don't know if it's just like the people who hate us who are rallying to his side, or if he just has like a lot of people who just love John Cusack. Like that to me was just crazy. How many people like?
Oh, dude. So a few years ago, I was walking home from a softball game to Woody's from Lincoln Park. I walked from Lincoln Park softball fields to Woody's, and I was looking at my phone, and Justin Bieber tweeted something like, "I really like frozen pizza," and I responded to him, not thinking anything of it. I'm like, "You pussy," or something like that. The amount of stands in my DMs and mentions was absurd. And I ended up getting suspended for a 24-hour period, I think it was. I could, like, read Twitter, but I couldn't tweet or anything. And this was worse. He has fucking stands coming at me.
Yeah.
Like, Eminem, Slim Shady stands coming at me.
Yeah, because people, like, he was really formative to a lot of people in teenage years. Like, he's supposed to have, like, a very loyal group of, like, older audience
that like
members
grew
that
up
use
with
the
him
internet.
for sure,
like
sure.
Facebook posters.
Yeah,
like people
yeah.
that are like going to
But
Facebook,
see,
like,
like-
oh, a big day at the grocery store. Like those people are defending.
I
John
guess I'm
Cusack.
just surprised that those people have Twitter, in a way.
They're out there.
His
guess.
Twitter feed is basically like Facebook on Twitter.
Yeah, it's a good
that's
way to
If you go
describe
to
it.
his
Good
feed,
point.
he just tweeted something else like 5 seconds ago, which was like, "Ha, my Gen Xers understand." Like it's the corniest shit in the world. Us old timers have memory, at least I do, of 5 decades, like grammatically incorrect.
Oh,
It's just
here's
like,
one. Darren Ravel tweeted. I mean, he tweets fucking everything, but he tweeted a poll saying, "Can you root for both teams?" And it was like 80 to 20 no. And is Darren Ravel a Chicago guy? I know he's a Northwestern guy, but does he root for the Cubs or something, or does he keep it like professional?
I don't think he has
unbiased?
professional rooting interests.
But he had here it is. Is lifelong Cubs fan John Cusack allowed, in quotation marks, to cheer for the White Sox and wear White Sox gear in years that the White Sox are better than the Cubs? 25.2% of course, 74.8% no way, over 18,000. Ravel actually...
Validated by Ravel's tweet.
Ravel retweeted the Barstool Chicago original video.
Yeah.
2.8 million views.
That's right. I was
did not
surprised
expect
too.
that.
I didn't get to listen to every local radio guy and national radio guy, but like I don't see how anyone who has sports fandom and has a job like this could be like pro that. I don't know.
Yeah, John can do what he likes.
And the thing that bugged me the most is all these fucking losers calling me a reporter. Like White Sox reporter Dave Williams, Barstool Sports.
It just
walks up
shows
to
you
me.
how like delayed everybody
Yeah.
still is on Barstool. It's like, dude, we're not.
Right.
We're at, like it's so much closer to entertainment than it is to
Right.
journalism.
Well,
It's
they
not,
always-
like it's not even close.
Hey, I will
always-
say
You know
this.
what,
I
though?
did report
Nice
the Fernando
journalism.
Tatis
Like-
Jr. trade, which would have been really nice to have him in right field today.
Can I be a little bit of a wet blanket on that though?
Yeah.
I feel like we can't have our cake and eat it too. Then, like if Dave wants to fill out a fake ballot, and like I don't think we could be like, can we be mad if people don't credit us for certain? I don't know. Like I think there's maybe
Yeah, I mean,
it's a larger
there's some gray
discussion.
area, right? Getting credit on stuff for sure.
Like credit's different, I should say, but don't believe us as a source. Maybe that's
Oh,
it.
like you mean respect?
Yeah,
Well,
like
I
if
don't
you
expect.
tweet-
I don't expect to be respected at all in this
Yeah.
job by the people that do that. If you're talking about Chicago sports, like I'm naturally inclined to assume that you don't really care for what we do.
Yeah, like I shouldn't say credit because credit you should always credit someone if they're first. But like if you tweeted today, like, hey, sources, Altuve hurt his back going to the clubhouse, he's out for the next series, and nobody picks it up until like a blue check. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
we could really get mad if people don't pick us up first. That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll make that.
I don't know.
I'll make that trade off. Although Dave and I did a lot of Scoop City.
Did you do?
Yeah,
did
for
you
sure.
see that Anonymous was getting in on it?
I don't want to talk about it.
No, he's not. Yeah, end the show if that's the case.
All
Pull
right,
the
so this
plug,
has
I'm
been
quitting the
the
job.
this has been the White Sox playoff postgame show. This is the first of 2 Red Line Radios this week. We'll be back on Thursday morning. Obviously, a lot more about Bears and picking up from the Raiders win, getting ready for Packers week. A lot of huge stuff coming, but obviously this show we definitely just wanted to dedicate it to the White Sox. White Sox Dave's put in a tremendous amount of time and effort, not just this season, for the last couple of years getting up to this point. So I know personally how disappointing it is for you, Dave. I know a lot of people listening to this, not just White Sox fans, but people want to see you in a position to have some fun and make some content. I will say in the 4 games of a playoff game, getting this John Cusack thing's pretty fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like that's my sign off from this. The fact that White Sox Dave, in his very first taste of like the White Sox being in the
spotlight,
national spotlight, like just
Well,
unbelievable stuff.
Wait, I mean, like,
it was that or throwing a dip spit.
That's what I was just gonna say.
It was,
Yeah.
So fucking lucky.
but even like
That should be a bigger story, you sick fuck.
I was reaching for my computer.
Oh, no.
I don't even like getting into it, but it was the first thing I grabbed and I just chucked it. As soon as I did it, I said, "Oh fuck, Dave Portnoy's gonna kill me."
No, but did you see his tweet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
But like, how could you? I don't know. Like that was just like it was not like if you did it for the camera.
Oh no.
No, I know, but I know you didn't. But if you did, that'd be like, oh fuck this guy.
Yeah, I'll
but if
end-
you were like that was
Yeah.
just like you would have done that in your own apartment.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Okay, I know we don't use the B word anymore, but back when I was a freshman, I was sitting in Seeger dorm number 201 at North Central College, and I had every cent of my name on. It was the Ohio State versus Illinois game when Juice Williams was a quarterback. When they won, was it 28-7? I think it was, and Juice threw 4 touchdowns
2014, November 2000.
or something, and I had a ton of money on Ohio State. And I had a pink highlighter that I was fidgeting with, and it was a standard like 10 by 10 dorm room you pack 2 guys into as a freshman, and I threw the fucking highlighter at my dresser. It exploded and got pink shit all over my face, and I could not get it out for days. So, yes, I would have done that if there was no cameras there. Yes.
Oh, what a perfect way to conclude today's show in our White Sox season. Better luck next year. We'll see you guys on Thursday morning. All gas.
No breaks.
DJ, play that shit.